Hello everyone, welcome to another interesting video. So today's video is about what is an aircraft's engine fire extinguisher. So we are going to talk about what type of material is used to extinguish the fire and how it works, what all aircrafts which have, and what are the necessary measures for aircrafts which don't have, and many more. So let's start. So when the aircraft engine fire extinguisher is used, the first one, well, it is used when there is an engine fire. You see, when engine fires happen because of a few reasons, but mostly it's because the fuel line and the oil supply is right next to each other, a leakage, and because of the hot running temperatures inside the engine, that leakage can ignite a fire. So to put out that fire, there are inbuilt fire extinguishers. It's not like the red colored one which flight attendants operates inside the cabin, the handheld one. It's fixed inside the engine itself. So they are called engine fire extinguishers. Now let's talk about what all aircrafts have them. So not every aircraft has the engine fire extinguisher. Many small planes like piston driven planes with single engines do not have it. So it's because it's first of all it's very tight. The pistons is all packed inside a tight unit, so it cannot be accommodated to fit the fire extinguisher. Instead, it those things when you need to extinguish the fire is mainly to cut off fuel supply, glide down and land as soon as possible. And only when if a fire enters the cockpit or something, there's a portable fire extinguisher to put out the flames. Now next one, let's talk about which all aircrafts have it. Every commercial aircraft is mandatory to have engine fire extinguishers. It is because it has mainly it's more complex with larger engines which are more powerful, so it is mandatory to have it. So now let's talk about how many like the bottles per engine it has. So for every engine it has two bottles. So the first one is called bottle 1 and the second is called bottle 2. And now I'll explain why there are two and now the discharging agent. So the agent is called halon 1301 or 1301. So it is not like something like carbon dioxide which like reduces the rate of combustion. It's something which is designed to put out the process of combustion itself. So it's meaning it will alter the process of combustion altogether. Next one, now we have talked about the agent itself. Now let's talk about why there are two bottles per engine. So there are two bottles per engine because it's mainly due to a safety feature. If the pilot, for example, discharges one bottle into the engine and the fire is still burning, they can discharge the second one into that. It's because of a safety precaution. If one bottle fails to put out the fire, and the second bottle will be ready to use. Now, for example, on a two-engine aircraft, two bottles per engine means there are four fire extinguishers in total inside the engine. On a four-engine aircraft, multiply that into two because it's two per engine. Four into two equals to eight. So there are a total of eight bottles of extinguishers inside the engines. Now we have talked about everything. Now let's discuss about other things. Okay, now let's talk about the isolation. It's basically how the pilots prepare if they have an engine fire. So the first step is it. I'm sorry, I'm stuttering a lot because I'm not well and I'm not prepared well for this video. So please bear with me. So the first step is shutting off the fuel and hydraulic pressure to the engine, because a fuel is a substance which which gives the power of the fire to combust. So, and hydraulic lines, it's a special type of fluid which is also very dangerous in case of a fire. Next thing is tripping the engine generator offline. So every engine has a generator linked to it which basically powers the cabin. So when the engine turns, it powers the generator. That generator gives power to all the aircraft systems like the lights, the air conditioning, the pilots, instruments, etc. etc. And now the next one is closes the bleed air valves. So next thing is the oxygen supply or the bleed air supply which comes into the cabin to keep the cabin pressurized. So the bleed air is mainly driven by the engine itself. So when a fire is running, so it's mostly all toxic substances which are there, and we do not want any passenger or any crew member to inhale it. So that step is closing the engine generator. I'm sorry, it means the bleed airs. And then finally arming the fire handles, so which means arming the fire extinguishers to get ready in case the fire is still burning. And then discharge, the last and final step. Discharge is where the pilot pulls the handle and the agent, which is halon 1301 or 1301, gets released from bottle 1 first, and then if the fire is still burning, which is illuminated by the fire light, I'm going to explain that in a minute, and then bottle 2. Now let's talk about the fire light itself. So the fire light is basically a red colored thing which is on the pilot's overhead panel. It shows if there's a fire in engine. So for example, it will be like, for example, it will have engine 1, and then if that glows red, which means there's a fire burning in engine number 1. So that is also linked to the fire handle. So when you pull that, and if that light is still on, the fire is still burning. It's because those sensors inside the engine can measure that. It's mainly basically because of EGT or exhaust gas temperature. Jet engines have a specific exhaust gas temperature, which means the heat of exhaust coming out from the engine. If it's at a normal rate, and also with many other factors happening inside the engine, the engine is working properly. If the exhaust gas temperature is very high, with a few of those factors I won't be explaining, or else this video would be too much long. That is where it comes into play. That is where the fire that light comes on. Then the pilots will get to know, along with the fire warning, which is a chime which comes on the cockpit speakers, which tells the pilots by which tells the pilots there is fire going on and to do the steps. So then they follow the checklist, they do everything in the checklist, and then they isolate the fire, they turn off the fire, keep the engine off, and they land as soon as possible. So this was kind of a video where technical, it was too much, and sorry I stuttered because I'm not prepared for this video, and I could not even upload a video last week because I planned a lot for the Clavis 1 year delivery and working with every idea I could do, like taking pictures, etc., etc. And this is actually the first time I'm wearing this custom merch I designed for myself for the channel's 3rd year birthday or lift off, wearing this first time in a video other than the unboxing video. So there are it's highly unlikely that an engine fire will happen on the flight, but it's still good to keep on technical side when how it is, to just to make sure you feel safe. So don't worry, nothing like this will ever happen, and even if it happens, which is highly unlikely, the pilots know what to do and you're in safe hands. So thank you so much. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe and comment, and have a nice day as always, and bye bye.